I want to tell you about a conversation I had with a parent we'll call Sandra. Sandra called us on a Tuesday afternoon in March after her daughter had just gotten her SAT score back, a 950. And Sandra said, and I am going to quote her as closely as I can remember, "I don't even know what I'm looking for right now. I just know I needed to talk to someone who has seen this before. We had many thousands of times. And at the end of our work together, after her daughter improved 380 points and was admitted to her first choice school, Sandra told me something I have thought about many times since. She said, 'There are things I wish someone had told me the day that score arrived. Things that would have changed how I handled the next 3 months.' This video is those things." Sandra described the day the score came as one of the most disorienting days of her daughter's junior year. Not because 950 was catastrophic, but because no one had prepared her for what to do with it. She looked up what the score meant. She found conflicting information. She made some assumptions about what was and was not still possible. And she had a conversation with her daughter that, in her own words, did not go the way I intended. The score created extreme anxiety in both of them. And that anxiety shaped the next several weeks in ways that made the preparation harder than it needed to be. Sandra told me that her first response was to buy 4 different SAT prep books and leave them on her daughter's desk. Her daughter's response was to move them to the closet. This is, in our experience, a very common first exchange. Here is what Sandra told me she wishes someone had said to her on that day the score arrived. Number 1, the score is a starting point, not a college death sentence. The first thing Sandra's brain did was treat 950 as a fixed fact about her daughter. It took several weeks before she fully internalized that it was a measurement of a current skill level, not a reflection of her daughter's intelligence, capability, or potential with AP classes and near a 4.0 GPA. That shift from verdict to data point changed how she supported her daughter through the process, and her daughter felt the difference. Number 2, your reaction becomes their emotional reality. Sandra told me that her daughter watched her face when the score came up on the screen, and whatever Sandra felt in that moment, her daughter absorbed it like a sponge. She wishes she had known in advance that her own response to the score would shape her daughter's relationship with the prep process for weeks afterward. Calm produces calm. Panic produces panic. She could not undo that first moment, but she became very deliberate about every moment afterward. Number 3, do not schedule the retake before you have a plan. Sandra's instinct was to immediately book the next available test date. She did. And then she spent 3 weeks scrambling to figure out how to prepare it, rather than building the preparation first and choosing the test date around it. The diagnostic comes before the test date, always, not the other way around. Number 4, stop talking about the score at home. This was the one Sandra said she wished most desperately she had heard earlier. Every dinner table mention of the SAT, every "have you studied today?" every well-intentioned check-in. Her daughter heard all of it as pressure, even when Sandra meant it as support. The score became the air in the house, and that pressure made it harder for her daughter to sit down and do the work without feeling like she was doing it for her mother rather than for herself. Number 5, trust the system and say so out loud. When Sandra finally said to her daughter explicitly out loud, "I trust the program. I trust you. I'm stepping back and letting you do this," her daughter's consistency in the sessions improved immediately and dramatically. Students who feel their parent trusts the process perform differently than students who feel their parent is monitoring every session for the result. The trust is not just emotional, it is a performance variable. Number 6, the 380 points were always there. This is what Sandra said at the end of our work together, and it is the one thing I remember most. Looking back, she said, those 380 points were always there. My daughter always had them. She just needed someone to show her where they were. The improvement was not created by preparation. It was uncovered by it. Sandra's daughter is in her second year of college now. She doesn't have to think about the SAT anymore. Sandra does think about it sometimes, not with regret, but with a particular clarity that comes from having been through something hard, and come out the other side with a full scholarship to her top college choice from the very beginning. She told me recently, "I wish I had found you the day the score came back instead of 3 weeks later. We would have had time and I would have spent less of it worried." If you're watching this and the score just came back, you found us. The time you have is enough. Let's use it well. The final video in this series is the one parents tell us they needed most. Coach Steve speaking directly to the parent sitting at a 950 with everything he has learned in 25 years about what that moment actually means. Subscribe so you catch it, and click the link below to book the diagnostic conversation that starts the path forward. I'm Coach Steve Kirschenbaum. The 380 points are there. Let's find them.